things they could be looking at.
There is.
I grew up with 3, so.
Yeah, I think I had like 8. Oh, wow.
Mr. Delphians, oh, it's at the choir concert tonight?
So it is 5:30.
Yeah, it's just. All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. It's good to have a full house tonight as we look forward to Christmas break, everyone, right? Yes? For sure. We'll start our meeting tonight, as we always do, with the reading of our mission statement. New Philadelphia City Schools will provide all students the opportunity to achieve their highest potential, to become educated, self-sufficient, and responsible citizens. We are committed to providing every student a diverse, quality education within a safe and secure environment through a dedicated, innovative, and highly qualified staff in partnership with parents and the community at large. If you'll stand with me, and we'll have the kids from West lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, call the roll.
Mr. France?
Present.
Dr. Fuller?
Here.
Mr. Galantine?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Here.
Mr. Weaver?
Here.
Motion, or we have a quorum.
Do you have a recommendation to approve the agenda of the regular Board of Education meeting? Move.
We have one change. Item F under my section, under the treasurer's report. That contract was reduced to $27,670.
I move as amended.
Thank you.
Second.
Any questions about that? Call the roll.
Mr. France?
Yes.
Dr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting dated November 20th, 2023, and minutes of the work session dated November 27th, 2023?
So moved.
Mr. Weaver, and a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Galantine. Any questions, changes? Call the roll.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine? Mr. France?
Yes.
Dr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, at this time, we want to recognize some of our outstanding fall athletes. Mr. Courtney?
Welcome, everyone. It's not used to being at board meetings, so I always like to remind the athletes and parents that you can leave as soon as this part of the meeting is done. So you don't feel like you have to stay for everything. But I do want to recognize our fall athletes here. We had about 430 fall athletes here for New Philadelphia. So we certainly are very appreciative of their accomplishments. We're going to start off here with Alec Adelman. It was a first team East District All-Star and first team OCC in boys cross country. Mighty fine outfit you got. I'm guessing he has another commitment tonight, so, all right. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. All right, next we have Marcus Adelman. He was Division I state qualifier, first team East District, Division I East District Runner of the Year, and first team OCC in boys cross country. Next we have Wyatt Lendon, who was a first team East District All-Star in boys cross country. Okay. Next, we want to recognize one of our co-coaches of the year in the East District. Our first co-coach of the year in boys cross country was Coach Kip Brady. Congratulations. And next, we have our second co-coach of the year in boys cross country is Coach Doug Smith for the East District. Thank you, Coach. And next, we'll go on to some of our football honorees. Our first football honoree we have is Jaden Bolts. He was Division III second team All-Ohio, first team East District, and first team OCC. Next, we have Boston Crowell, who was Division III Honorable Mention All-Ohio, first team East District, and first team OCC. Okay. Next, we have Garrett Dillon Ryan, who was Division III first team All-Ohio, first team East District, first team OCC. And I think he got a school record for pinning somebody in like 7 seconds the other night, so. Next, we have Division III third team All-Ohio, first team East District, first team OCC for football, Keaton Fossil. All right. Next, we have Division III Honorable Mention All-Ohio, first team East District was Carson Long. All right, next we have Division III Honorable Mention All-Ohio and first team East District, Hudson Osborne. All right, and we also have Division III Honorable Mention All-Ohio, first team East District, Etney Richardson. All right, and then we have Division III First Team All-Ohio, First Team East District, Division III East District Player of the Year, First Team OCC, and OCC Defensive Player of the Year, Zath Rothwell. Next, we have Division III Honorable Mention All-Ohio and First Team East District, Miles Tyson. All right, and now we're going to move on to our golf team. We have quite a few honorees here for that. Our first one was First Team East District and First Team OCC, Louis DeVore. And another First Team East District and First Team OCC for boys golf was Brady Evans. All right, and then we had First Team East District, Division I East District Co-Player of the Year. First Team OCC, OCC Player of the Year, and Academic All-Ohio was Nathan Menapace. All right. And then we also have First Team OCC and Academic All-Ohio for Connor Rippeth. And we also had our Division I East District Co-Coach of the Year, or Coach of the Year was Coach Mike Miller. So. All right, and then we had for girls golf, we had First Team East District, First Team OCC, was First Team Tri-County and Academic All-Ohio was Madison Wright. All right, and now for volleyball, we have for First Team OCC for volleyball, Eva Reason. And next we have Division II Honorable Mention All-Ohio, First Team OCC, First Team District 5 Coaches Association All-Star, Sydney Vandal for volleyball. All right, and now we have for boys soccer, we have First Team East District, Division II East District Co-Player of the Year, First Team OCC, Preston Rieger. And finally, we have for girls soccer, we had first team OCC was Gracie Martin. Well, thank you for all of those you were able to attend. And again, for any of those that like to sneak out, you're welcome to.
We're done.
No.
I don't clear a room.
High school athletes, get their haircut.
Bye-bye.
It appears as if, doesn't it? A very similar trim.
I was at school, we all had ducktails, but
Guys, thank you.
All right, before we get to building spotlight time, we have one more recognition that Mrs. Wentworth would like to recognize.
Sure, thanks. I would want to take a minute to express my heartfelt appreciation for the incredible dedication and service of all of our board members. But tonight, I specifically want to honor and acknowledge the 3 board members who are ending their term of service for the district. Dr. Dan Fuller is completing his term on the board tonight, having the term that began in January of 2020. And Dave France and Chris Weaver have faithfully served on the board since January of 2008. For those of you who prefer not to do that math, that is 16 years of service and sacrifice for our district. That encompasses a lot of board meetings. Serving on the board is an often thankless job. It is a job where criticism runs rampant and compliments are often few and far between. I have personally witnessed these gentlemen time and time again make very tough decisions. But in each case, they made the decisions that they felt were in the best interest of the district, even when it exposed them to personal criticism and critique. I am so grateful for their willingness to do the things they believed were necessary in order to fulfill our mission. So Dan, Dave, and Chris, on behalf of New Philadelphia City Schools, I want to personally thank you for your sacrifice, your commitment, and your willingness to do whatever it takes to help every student achieve their highest potential. Your work has made a difference in the lives of many, many Quakers over the past several years. As a token of our appreciation, we have provided each of you with a customized wooden book stack that we hope you will proudly display as a reminder of the hours you have spent giving of yourselves for the sake of others.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. And thank you for the kind words. I really do. Appreciate what you shared this evening.
thank you.
Thank you so much for
That's awful. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it. Yeah, very nice. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I don't want to speak for Denver, but it's been an honor serving with you for sure in my short 2-year time on the board. But definitely thank you for your hours and energy and thoughtfulness in the time that we've had together. So it's appreciated.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to just briefly go along exactly with what you said and add that I've known 2 of these young gentlemen for quite a while. I mean, one back when I was a college student. Dr. Fuller was my English professor. And knew Dave back when he was about 10 years old. And he got, by the way.
Long time ago.
He got all A's. So I got all A's in English. Wonderful being with those 2 and get to know Chris these years have been wonderful. And I appreciate the hard work that they all 3 have put in. I want to thank all 3 of them.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Denny.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Mrs. Hall.
So thank you so much for having West Elementary here. We are excited to present for you. Before we begin though, I want them to introduce themselves. We're just gonna go right, nope, step right here. We're gonna go. So just tell everybody who you are.
Nathan Haas.
Nate Albert.
Alexis Himes. Kyle Malcolm. Angelina Guba. Isabella Bradford. Exo names.
And you can start us.
Hello, members of the board. We are members of the student council of West Elementary.
In order to become representatives of West Elementary, we created a slogan and presented a campaign speech to our classmates. We were elected by a class vote.
We have been learning about different types of energy during science this year. We started learning about kinetic, potential, and mechanical energy. Potential energy is the type of stored energy in an object. Kinetic energy is the energy of motion, and mechanical energy is a combination of them. We created paper roller coasters in order to test these three types of energy. We had to make sure we had enough momentum in order to make the marble complete one successful pass on the roller coaster. Here are some pictures.
And up on the screen there, we have a few pictures of what the students did this
Oh,
fall.
cool.
Okay, Lily, go ahead. Nice. Nice.
That's cool. Oh, wow, look at that.
Well done.
We will now show you an example of a roller coaster our class created and demonstrate for you potential and kinetic energy. This is potential energy. This is potential energy. And there's kinetic. Here's potential, and there's kinetic.
That's awesome.
We also learned about many types of energy. Some examples are solar, heat, thermal, elastic, chemical, sound, and electrical.
Energy can be transferred.
Currently, we are studying the law of conservation of energy, which means energy can either be created or destroyed. It just changes form.
Energy can be transferred thermally when two objects of a different temperature meet. An example of this is when your hands are cold and you break open hot hands to warm them.
It can also be transferred mechanically when objects push or pull each other over a distance. An example of this is kicking a soccer ball. Energy can also be transferred electrically through electric currents. An example of this is using a battery to charge my Chromebook. We had fun learning that energy is everywhere. Thank you for letting us share with you about what we have been learning.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming, everyone. Appreciate it. Enjoy your break, your holiday break, Christmas break, right? How many days left? No?
This weekend.
This weekend.
Not that anybody's.
Thank you so much.
Ask Mrs. Van Arsdale, and she knows the exact number. There it is.
Thank you for coming. Parents, you're welcome to stay, but this would be a time that you can go if you want to.
Basketball. See you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on. I don't see any public participation sign up for this evening, so we will.
I'd like to say something. Sure.
Are you?
I appreciate the kind words tonight and what we saw the kids do. I didn't prepare for this, but as I reflected on the nice things that Amy had to say and those kids with the energy display this evening was impressive. It was interesting, it was fun. But what it sparked in my brain was the number of times that I've heard about lifelong learners. And I think as I look back from the 16 years, I've learned a lot. And I see some fourth graders, right, that are learning a lot. And I'm going to hope my friend to the left over here, literally and figuratively, still learning a lot. And just that notion of, and I think that's what we're really all here about, is lifelong learners. And how important that is and how that makes our community a much more positive and better place to live in. And I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to actively participate in that for the last 16 years. So thanks to whoever's left in the room.
Thanks, Dave.
That's it.
Okay. Julie, treasurer's report?
Okay, the first thing I wanted to bring to your attention, if you remember, I'm sure Dave and Chris will because they've been around for a while, but I'm not sure who else will remember this. During COVID, Main Street bus tours, we had a whole group of people to go to the DC trip. That bus tour from COVID, the whole company went bankrupt. This week I got settlement papers and we had from our general fund made all of our students whole. So everyone was made whole. And this week I got notification that the district will be receiving $8,000 on the settlement of the bankruptcy. So I wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that. We paid out about $28,000 to students to make everybody whole.
That'll just go back into the general fund.
Yes. The rest of my report would be, I have the financial statement, the key indicator, the cash flow, the check register, and the bank reconciliation in the drive. We are all in balance to zero with everything reconciled. Item F, Vincent Protect contract in the amount of $27,670. This contract is for cybersecurity because we need increased security. And do you want to wait until I'm done or do you want to address it now? I'm going to have Mrs. Wentworth speak a little more on that. I have the Auditor of State engagement letter. They are here and they are working. It's $30,000 or $30,791. I'm asking that you approve the transfer of funds in the amount of $2,600 from the class of 2020 to the high school fund based on board policy. The popcorn machine in the concession stand broke. Actually, there were two, both of them broke, and they're using that money to replace it. And we do have a letter from that class allowing that transfer. The approval of Staley Technologies contract for additional walkie-talkies for the OFCC safety grant in the amount of $7,960. I have the following donations for one Quaker Foundation from the Renaissance Club and one VFW Post 1445. They donated money and purchased wrestling mats for the district. The donations that are in item K are for West and Central. This is an accelerated reading program. West started it last year, and they're doing it again this year. Central has picked it up with the fifth grade that did it last year. So they're getting all this money donated in order to take or give prizes and other things for accelerated reading. We have 3 people on FMLA. I'm asking that you approve extended Jennifer Hall beginning February 4th, 2024. I was trying to hide the reason. I approve the temporary, I'm asking you to approve the temporary supplemental contract for Lori Hall for the coverage of maternity leave for Mrs. Hall in the amount of $2,500. And I've also provided to approve the agreement for law enforcement services with New Philly City in the amount of $75,610.72 for an additional resource officer for the district. Any questions for me? With that, I'll let Mrs. Hall tell you about the Vincent,
Worth.
Mrs. Wentworth, but that's okay.
Sorry, I'm
I
thinking
got it.
about Mrs. Hall.
We'll have Mrs. Wentworth do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Vincent Protect.
Yeah, Mrs. Hall might be thrown for a loop there with that one. We are recommending that we sign an additional contract with Vincent Protect. This is for additional cybersecurity features that will significantly enhance what we do. Even though today was a different type of cybersecurity attack, it is obvious that schools are one of the #1 targets for cybersecurity. People who want to do things nefariously, so to speak. So this enhanced protection will be more of an offensive protection where we are actively looking for those threats as they come across our network and attack our devices. And then we will be monitoring those and then responding to them appropriately. And there are different layers built into the agreement, a lot of which is a little above over my head, but I know it's good stuff that we need to do. So, and then just also to speak one more to the additional SRO, just wanted to note that amount includes the cost of the cruiser or our portion of the cost of the cruiser for the first year, and then services from early January through the remainder of the school year. Then moving forward, we will have 2 SROs available to the district to contract with on an annual basis.
So the 75.6 is for
Cruiser and January to May or June services.
for one
Correct,
officer.
correct.
Will it be next year?
I don't have that.
I think it's an additional $23,000, but keep in mind, we won't pay for the cruiser a second time.
So the entirety of the cruiser is in this contract?
Correct.
Okay, and then that'll come up every, did they say 5 to 7 years? Is that accurate?
7, I believe.
Yes, that is what they
Okay.
said.
Thank you.
23 is just for the second, right?
For half of a school year.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved. Oh, second.
Mr. France, 1, Dr. Fuller, 2. That's what I heard. Any additional questions?
I do have a question on the Vincent contract. The reason for going from 34 to 27, did we reduce deliverables or was it just quoted at a different rate? Or
Vincent went out and they got a reduced rate on a vendor that they had.
okay, so we're not reducing the amount
No.
of services provided. Okay,
Right.
this seems really important and something good to do for sure. Just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Any others? Great. Do you have sorry, call the roll?
Mr. France?
Yes.
Dr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine? Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Personnel.
All right, the first item is a retirement. This is a teacher who will be leaving the district and retiring at the end of this school year. So that is the first one that we have to share for this year. I have a couple classified resignations. We need to hire an additional supplemental contract for a resident educator. That is for the new intervention specialist that we hired last month. And then we have some additional substitutes and volunteers and a couple student teachers who will be joining us the remainder of the year. So if I could have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Weaver, one. Second? I'll second it.
Any questions on any of those?
Call the roll?
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. France?
Yes.
Dr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine? Motion carries.
Any committee reports this evening?
No, the Business Advisory Regional Council meeting is actually tomorrow, so we should have an updated report after that.
The new floor for the Quaker Dome is actually in the country. I think it might even be in Ohio.
In the Quaker Dome right now,
It's in the Quaker Dome now.
on pallets, but
So
it's,
it's getting close.
Anyone else? Great. Mr. Williams?
Okay, all I have this month is the approval of QDA and QPA's financial reports. I also want to say thank you to Mr. France and Mr. Weaver, who took a chance on me in 2010 as a teacher and hired me. And then 11 years later, after I had left for Garaway for a little while, allowed me to come back in this capacity. And to Mr. Fuller, Dr. Fuller, who I used to play basketball with on Sundays at Kent State. He had a mean three-point shot, so it's been an honor
Really?
working with you three. Thank you.
You still have that mean three-point shot, Dan? You still have that three-point shot? Yeah?
What did I say, Todd? Lifelong learner.
Lifelong.
Fortunately, the baskets are down, so I don't have to prove it.
Do I have a motion to approve the QDA, QPA financials?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Galantine. Call the roll?
Mr. France?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine? Dr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Superintendent's report.
we have several items on the agenda here for approval tonight. Item A, the first reading of our 24-25 district calendar as is in the board folder. Ask the board to approve the early graduation for Lauren Contini. She has met all her requirements and will be leaving us after this fall here to begin her college experience. Asking the board to approve the non-routine field trip for the volleyball team to go to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in July of 2024. Asking the board to approve the resolution establishing specific job titles as having educational duties connected with the public school system. That has to do with the civil service exam requirements. And then finally, approve participation for New Philadelphia High School students in indoor track and field meets as representatives of New Philadelphia High School for the 23-24 school year, and approve Jeremy Rogers as a volunteer coach for indoor track and field. And finally, we have a whole host of board policies that have been updated, and so I'm asking for the approval and adoption of these board policies.
Do I have a motion to accept the superintendent's report?
So moved.
Mr. Galantine, one. Second?
Second.
Dr. Fuller. Any questions? Call the roll?
Mr. Galantine? Dr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. France?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Carries.
Finally, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Hey, Todd.
Everybody look at me. So move.
Okay.
Well, before you second, just one thing to add. I wasn't sure where the right time or place would be to say something, and all of you that have served with me know that I probably would want to say something. I talk more than maybe I should, but just Thank you for the kind words, Amy. And, Dave summed it up well as far as lifelong learning, and I have learned a lot too. It's been a pleasure serving with you all. And the thing that I probably value and admire a lot is just educators and education. That is a difficult job. It's an important job. And it can be a fulfilling job. I mean, in the work that I do, it's not near as challenging. We have challenges, but they're not quite to the level, I think, of what our educators go through. And you picture how that continues to change for educators to deal with things that are really important to people, being their children and their, what's good for them, finances. I mean, you hit home with people on things that can be emotional for them and that mean a lot to people. And so the difference you all make is pretty significant. And I just recognize too, the way things change, I mean, it's so different now than it was 16 years ago. You have to deal with whether there are safety issues that we were not dealing with 16 years ago, political issues, everything political shows up either in the boardroom or in the classroom or somewhere. And in the environment we're in, as divisive as it is, that's a tough job. And so I just wanted to thank you for your leadership and the difference that you all make. And I also just wish well for our board going forward and the new board members coming in. It's been a pleasure serving with you all and past and present. I've had the pleasure to meet and work with people that I did not know coming into this, that all at the heart, coming from different backgrounds, different things that were important to them. They all cared a lot about fulfilling the mission of New Philadelphia City Schools. And that's one of the most unique things we have about New Philly. This community has a lot of pride, and that pride can be a real strength, and I think it is. And it can also be something that can be a weakness because people aren't apathetic, people care. And that care sometimes gets voiced in things that can be feel negative or feel hurtful or whatever, but it's coming from a good place. I think people want what's best. And we've got a bright future and we've got good leadership, and I've been proud to be part of it, and we'll be supportive going forward. So thank you all, and wish you the best going forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Okay. Dr. Fuller has motioned us to adjourn. I just need one more.
Second.
Mr. Weaver has seconded us. Thank you, everyone.